Hey guys, Darklands Pair here, back with a new video. So I just want to make a video on the red button thought experiment and maybe give more of a clarification to why certain ethicists will bring up this idea. And so I just want to first say that, what's at stake here is really bad negative experiences that sentient beings, animals, and humans alike can experience. And these negative sensations, these negative experiences that are produced from the brain is more, for the majority of the suffering and torture that's experienced is uncontrollable. You know, it's a process or a event where you're forced to experience something they don't want to experience and you want it to stop, but it doesn't stop. That is what's at stake here. That's the big evil boogeyman, so to speak. That's the real evil here. The fact that brains can experience torture, pain, and suffering, and long agony that doesn't end, that doesn't stop. The brain doesn't stop producing it, the negatives. It just keeps going on and on and on, okay? And so even if you had a world where, everyone is experiencing bliss, but there's one individual that's experiencing hard, brutal torture, it still makes the whole game a fucking fail. It's a failed experiment. It's a failed conception, this whole life thing that we're doing, this thing that we value in terms of like thinking that we're heading somewhere, or that we're producing something that makes any of this negative shit that's happening in this world make any sense or make it worth it, when really, you just can't you can't compare, the positives, the reducing of the negatives or alleviating the negatives doesn't eliminate the harsh negative experiences that people or animals have to experience. So when we talk about the red button experiment, it basically tests your ethics. It tests your ability to critical think and analyze not only your own biases and your own beliefs, but also what's better for the bigger picture. What would be the better outcome. That's what we're playing for, is outcomes, right? And the red button experiment is basically demonstrating what would be the better outcome: to leave the world as it is, or to eliminate the real negative, which is pain, suffering, and torture. And that's why people bring up the red button scenario, and they test individuals. What would they do in that situation if the red button was in front of them? And this is not like, and some people will make assertions saying that it's a violent method. No, we're talking about a graceful, like 1 millisecond, and everything goes poof, evaporates or whatever. Now, obviously, that's not going to happen anytime soon. Just to make that a clarification. But again, if majority of human beings, as the most intelligent species on this planet, if they all came together and said, yeah, let's not keep playing this musical chair to the death, or let's not play this meat grinder game and let's end it. We can definitely come to the consensus, and we can come to a conclusion that, yeah, that's the logical thing to do in order to end the boogeyman, and the real enemy here. So, I mean, it's not really that difficult to understand. I know some people want to make it as though it would be like this horrific, massive amounts of torture and suffering in order to press that red button. But no, it doesn't have to be like that, okay? Human beings, for the most part, most human beings understand that pain and suffering is bad, and again, this is why we need to even have conversations to begin with, because you have to have conversations in order to find solutions. And so, I'm in agreement with this, because at the end of the day, this planet is not going to be sustainable anyways. With climate change and just the economy and the state of the world is just not sustainable, regardless of what you want to believe. But the fact is, it's going to be inevitable that this is going to all end. This planet is not going to survive another billions of years. It's just not going to. That's the reality of things. And so human beings have this responsibility as the most intelligent as the most intelligent animals on planet Earth. They have this responsibility that, well, you have all these creatures that are constantly eating each other alive, and you have to understand that is happening on this planet. Whether you like it or not, that is a reality and that is a truth that is going on every day on this planet. Is that these animals, these ignorant animals, that it's not to their own fault, but they are just cannibalizing and eating each other alive every day without realizing that they're torturing and forcing torture among other animals, and that's horrible. That's waste. That's just wasted value right there. And as human beings, we can do the math, we can add up the numbers, we can add up the the relieving of the negatives, and you put it on one side, and you look at the true negatives that are, that no one wants to be experiencing, because there is no gains, there's nothing to benefit from it. It should even be hard to understand why some people would press the button. Now, for the people who do not want to press the button, what you're initially voting for is the continuation of torture. I mean, this is as black and white as it gets. I mean, you either are for torture or you are against torture. The mere existence of it, the mere existence of these brain patterns that can be experienced by human beings and animals, the fact that it even happens in this reality, and you are saying that that you're okay with it because you're not experiencing it. See, that's the whole idea of the red buttons thought experiment. It's to basically test your ethics and your understanding of what the hell is at stake here, And people want to make it as though it's going to be a real thing that's going to happen. It's going to, someone's going to really create the red button. And of course that's not realistic. And of course, I would love to have the red button right now and be like, yep. And if this red button was a button for a graceful exit for all species within 1 millisecond, yeah, I would press it, because I'm looking around, and what are most people really chasing after? Just delusional desires and ambitions and stuff like that. And at the end of the day, you're still stuck here on this planet that we call Earth. We're still stuck here in this meat grinder. This evolutionary game of lay eggs and die. I mean, that's not a good game to be playing for, and that's not a good game to be voting for or continuing or perpetuating at all. That's just illogical to perpetuate a game where it's just lay eggs and die, lay eggs and die, lay eggs and die. I mean, that's literally all this life thing is. You see it with the bugs, you see it with the mammals. I mean, and of course, human beings are no different. You see stupid, ignorant human beings doing the same thing. I mean, so what is this conversation that we need to have, honestly? I mean, once you understand that what's at stake here, you're either for the perpetuation of torture or you're not. There's no other, it shouldn't be that difficult to understand. And I think that a lot of problems come with this whole thought experiment, is that people want to assert things that are just not true. Again, Ethicists are not fucking evil people. They don't want to blow up the world and stuff like that. I don't know where it came from with this idea that, they just want to blow up the whole world and cause a lot of suffering. I mean, that's just not logical. You can't use a thought experiment as though it's like their claim for their philosophical view. It's just not fucking true. It shouldn't be this difficult to understand. But again, you only have two options here, and that's the whole point of this whole thought experiment. It's a challenge. It's a challenge with your own thought process. You're trying to really think about it really clearly. There's only two actions you could do. You can either press the button or you don't press the button. And what are the outcomes? Well, the outcomes will be either no more negatives in the universe, or there's gonna be negatives on and on and on. I mean, and that's the whole red buttons thought experiment, pretty much. I mean, so you know, it makes logical sense to me. I mean, at the end of the day, human beings will inevitably suffer severely. I mean, due to our abuse with this planet. I mean, abuse with the system, with each other, even. Um, Unfortunately, it's inevitable. It's the sad truth. Um, Look at climate change, for instance, and it's going to cause a lot of suffering. I mean, it's just the truth. I mean, so many people are going to be forced to move to inland locations, and we don't have the sustainability to even have people survive like that. We don't even have the resources. We're running low on resources in terms of clean water, in terms of um, just fossil fuels. I mean, all these things, and people are still forgetting that this is a multiplayer game, and that there are other players out here creating causes and effects in this universe. And yeah, it's just crazy that people can't seem to grasp this whole thought experiment. It's not that difficult to understand that it's just an evaluation whether whether the outcomes are right, logically or illogically wrong. And obviously, letting the way the state of the world is, and letting human beings and animals suffer on and on and on, it's just illogical. And what's the end goal here? What are we trying to achieve if we continue this whole human fucking experience, or this whole like fucking dance that we're doing? I mean, it's not leading anywhere good, and I can already tell from adding up these specific facts in terms of the economy, in terms of just life itself. Just majority of people seem to not even pay attention to the truth. I mean, or they're just denying it. They want to run away from it because it's not comfortable. I don't know what it could be, but simply it's just that's all the red button experiment is. I mean, it's really just trying to test yourself as an individual, seeing if you can make the right decisions for the majority. I mean, it's not supposed to be something that's supposed to be practical, because again, in order for something for something like that event of someone actually pressing the red button and creating a red button to blow up the entire world, it would have to come to a majority vote eventually. Something democratic in terms of being able to have the majority agree that that's the right logical solution. So again, and this is why you need to have these conversations. You're trying to communicate with human beings these philosophical ideas to get to that point, that end goal, which is to eliminate and stop and prevent unnecessary pain and suffering to continue on. I mean, that's just the simple fact. That's the whole point of the red button experiments, to basically get to that point with these conversations and with these philosophical conversations you might have with people. And that's why we even make videos. That's why people talk. That's why people want to explain to other human beings that aren't really getting it, that these are the facts of life that are, that suck. But that's the unfortunate reality. And life doesn't care about your opinions and stuff like that. The fact is, you have to make a decision at the end of the day. And you want to have the best outcomes. You don't want the worst outcomes, because the worst outcomes is pain, wasted pain and suffering. So I think that's all I have for this subject in terms of the red button situation. I mean, obviously, I would definitely press the red button because, yeah, what the fuck are we achieving here? I mean, all I'm seeing here is just wasted, needless pain and suffering. I mean, we're literally wasting it, going down the dumpster. It's just, and for what? And for what? Just gratification, just, oh, I'm a winner on top of dead bodies, right? I mean, is that what we're playing for? Is that real? Like, you really want to continue with that for another millions of years? I mean, get real. At some point, you got to realize that these fucking pleasures, these stupid achievements, these things that we call success and stuff like that, isn't true success if the fucking negative still exists. If the negative still exists and it can still be perpetuated, that's not, no idea of success matters if negative still exists. True success is when, in my opinion, true success is when there's no negatives anymore. Until then, it's going to be constantly negatives experienced by animals and humans alike, because people are going to keep perpetuating this whole life thing. And it's just fucking horrible, you know? It's horrible to think that, because it's like, you know, we have this capacity to analyze the world and make decisions based on our facts that we've gathered in our life. And, you know, it shouldn't be this fucking difficult to make that logical decision, because, yeah, I mean, what other outcome is there besides eliminating the negatives? That's the only thing that makes any sense. Obviously, I don't have the power to, like, again, none of us have the power in terms of, like, individually being able to make a great change. But yeah, you in your personal everyday life, you can try to have conversations with someone who can be open-minded to these ideas. That might be your only chance. Just having conversations, philosophical conversations with people that can handle it, because some people can't handle it. And as you can see, some people truly just can't handle the fact that, yeah, the fact is life sucks. Life is, you know, it's a messy game. It's a really, really messy game to be involved in. And the outcomes, you know, a lot of it can be uncontrollable. And that's the scary part. That's the whole torture thing that we're talking about here. The uncontrollable negative sensations that you're going to be experiencing, not for just 1 day, 2 days. It could be weeks, months, years of hard, agonizing pain. You know, that's what we're playing for. That's what's on the table. That's like the ticket that's the ticket that everyone has. The invisible ticket that most people are not even aware of. Like, we all could be experiencing these really awful experiences. None of us are safe from all of these horrible experiences, you know? It can happen to any of us. And that's the thing. That's what you have to think about. It's not just about you and what you are going to miss or what you're not going to be able to enjoy, but other people are having to experience these things, and, you know, it's just not good. It's just, you know, that's the thing. Like, this is just a shortcut solution. Obviously, it's not a real solution, because we don't have a practical red button, you know, that's actually created that can be done tomorrow. But, you know, this should lead some conversations among human beings, just the general public, to really talk about what the fuck are we really doing out here. Because nothing here that we're doing is making any of this fucking horrible pain and suffering and horrible experiences that people and animals have to experience. Like, none of this shit that I'm doing in my personal life is making up for any of this horrible shit that's going on. You know, I mean, what the fuck can I do in my life that makes up for an animal being chewed up alive? I mean, I can't even imagine what I can do in my own existence to make up for that horrific event that's happening. I mean, you know, it sucks. And then again, I get it. You know, animals have to eat. They have to do their thing to survive. It's not their fault. I'm not denying that they are, you know, it's just, that's the game. That's the evolutionary game. But again, we're human beings. We should see above that. We should be able to see above the maze and say, yeah, this life is a hell realm, or whatever you want to call it. This is maddening, honestly. It shouldn't be this difficult. Really shouldn't be this difficult to understand, and why someone would come to this conclusion in the first place. They see the agonizing pain. They see that the turmoil that can be experienced, and when the individual knows that they're not safe from it either, that's what should kind of wake you up and be like, yeah, I'm not for this whole life thing. I don't want this shit to be perpetuated. I don't want to vote for it. I want to vote against it. That's what more human beings should be doing, and that's why we need to have more conversations. That's why people need to fucking talk. You know, because saying you can't do anything about it, you're just letting the enemy, which is pain and suffering, keep being perpetuated. I mean, that's literally, there's no other option. It's literally as black and white as you could possibly get. And again, doing nothing, saying that you can't do anything about it, and there's nothing that we can do, life is always going to be suffering and stuff like that, that is still doing something about it, which is letting ways continue on and on and on. I mean, you're literally, no matter what you do, whether you're doing nothing, you're still going to create some kind of change, okay? Change is going to happen regardless if you like it or not. It's going to happen. So, and this is not me being like a know-it-all. This is just from life experiences, of just personal experience of actual pain that I've experienced. And yeah, I wouldn't want to experience that again. And so, you know, this is coming from someone who is honest, who wants the best for not only from themselves, but for others, for people like me, who can be just like me in a worse circumstance, you know. And this is coming from someone who's very privileged in the fact that I'm lucky in terms of like what I have in my life. You know, things could be way worse. I know things could be way worse. So don't start putting this shit on me saying that like, oh, you know, I just hate my life and that's why I'm thinking this way. You know, because I truly do understand that, yeah, things could be way worse, you know. So, you know, I logically see the red button solution as the only real solution. So now it's up to the humanity and what they think of that thought experiment and what would they do? Are they for torture or are they against it? And if they're against torture, that's the only option, is to press the red button. Because if you don't press the red button, you can experience torture. I mean, you're still not safe from it. Just because you're healthy, just because you have everything working for you, doesn't mean you're safe from it. You can eventually experience it in the next 10 years down the road or next 20 years. That's the scary part. That's what people are not understanding. This is not coming from someone who wants to act like a know-it-all, whatever you want to proclaim or assert and stuff like that. Because I know what's at stake here. I know that this shit's not fucking fun. I know this shit's really fucking, you know, deep down, nature is really fucking demented. It's really evil, if you really think about it. I mean, it kills fucking babies, you know? I mean, let's be real here, man. At some point in your life, at some age, you're supposed to grow up and be like, yeah, okay, this life isn't a joke. This isn't just some fake simulation. You know, and that's why we need to have these arguments. That's why human beings need to have these conversations. And it's uncomfortable. It's not fun. I don't fucking find arguments and debates fun, but and it's necessary to create change. It's necessary to pivot the momentum to somewhere that's better and not worse. I mean, that's all I want to say with this video in terms of the whole topic, because I don't see any other way. You know, I truly don't. Yeah, guys, I think that's it for today. See you guys later.